All right, so since we've talked last, we have assembled our superstructure A-frame on our robot. Looks a little different now. Our superstructure is basically the backbone of our robot. It not only supports our pivot point for our arm, but it's kind of integral to the whole point of our shooter being fixed so that our arm sits right over on top nicely and can pivot and shoot right up here. Our arm motors are a 51 gear reduction powered by two Neos. And yeah, pretty much our arm, we designed it in SolidWorks. We made sure that all of our angles on these brackets here were perfectly placed in order to get our fixed shooter in the right spot.
The other change from yesterday is the winch is now hooked up to the arm. We have this cross beam here, and then we're planning to, when we climb with these hooks, the chain comes up here, slides, kind of gets stuck in here. We have a little bit of a barb to keep the chain from sliding out if we start rocking. And then instead of using the arm to pull ourselves down, primarily using a winch to lift our robot up off the ground. The other thing coming back to the arm is we have a Rev 3-bore encoder that we're using for absolute positioning for our arm, so that we know where our intake position is and our shooter position, as well as climb, all of that. Today we did a lot of wiring. Almost all of our wiring is done. So we got our wire bundle heading up the side of the arm and everything integrated, and in the next hour we should be moving around ready for a full system test.
Okay, we are giving the next update for our shooter. So yesterday we talked about the intake. So if it started out front here, it would rotate back here and catch up here. And then from here, it will rotate the same direction as when it picked it up from the floor, and then it will come into the shooter.
So on that, basically the intake will act as our kind of indexing feeder mechanism for the system, rolling it into these two flywheels that are geared 1-to-1 with these other wheels using Neos. So right here, it'll come in, catch these wheels, and take off. And as you can kind of see, the shape deforms a lot, so when it actually gets into the shooting position, it disconnects from these back two wheels, so there's no kind of interference in the flight path of the system. And this also accounts for some forms of off-center cases. As this goes up, the wheels basically deform the system to catch in the center and run up as kind of a flywheel and send it out, even if it's off-center from this intake itself. And yeah, that's pretty much our shooter. Got some nice engravings made out of acrylic, very nice, and we're pretty happy with how it's turned out so far.
And the last little update is we added these hooks to the side, so these now should be able to grab onto the chain. So it will grab about here, and then we have this winch that will hopefully pull the robot up when it's hooked onto the chain.
What is the motion?